the only fans for knowledge, right? So YouTube was one option, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to really monetize on YouTube. You know something that someone is willing to pay for, right? It's not a get rich quick scheme, but it's a way to actually detach your income to the amount of hours you actually work. So for anyone who wants a certificate, I think you're better off going to UNISA. Now, 𝗧𝗥𝗖𝗞 𝗧𝗥, we can't say 𝗧𝗥𝗖𝗞 𝗧𝗥 is not a master of marketing because he doesn't have a master's degree. I think he's more of a master than people with master's degrees.
Listen real.
Welcome to the Millennials Corner, where most of us are lost in the trends. What do you do, Buffet? Welcome back to another episode, exciting episode of TMC. And if I would to jog your memory on who TMC is, you'll remember that TMC is a brainchild of some super cool millennials who like to talk about technology, creativity, and everything in between, right? So one of the reasons why I'm really excited for this episode, it's because we have no stranger to this episode. We have somebody who's a very good friend of TMC. He's been here before, and one of the things that we've learned about him is that he likes building this dude dog. On this episode, we will be talking about one of the most exciting things that he's currently working on, and he will be telling us why it's important for us to be chilling here and telling you guys about it. So yeah, for you, just buckle up, chill back, and grab a snack as we take you on this fun ride. So Mr. Mahapa, welcome again to TMC.
Yeah,
yeah.
Glad to be back. I'm back and better. Yeah, it feels good, man.
Back and wiser.
Most definitely.
But wiser. Yeah. So I think one of the most important stats that drives this episode, or this conversation rather, would be the one that suggests that 57% of learners today, they prefer to study or learn online than they did 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess COVID has kind of like taught us that we don't necessarily have to be, confined, to four walls, to learn anything substantial.
Sure.
So we've seen a lot of people now, and a lot of companies as well, starting to, offer learning, solutions which are completely remote. So I think that's one of the main drivers that came about.
Yeah. So Bafetti, you'll realize that we didn't do like a proper intro ya Masai. So if you'd like to learn more about Masai, maybe you missed our previous episode, you want to know what qualifies him to be here talking to us about this particular topic, please check this link up here, and then you can watch the episode about making it as a self-taught developer. As you always did, you are building again. Last time you came, we spoke about 𝗧𝗥𝗖𝗞, and you back at it. What are you currently working on?
Yeah, so currently I'm working on a platform called Vuti.io. So it's an online platform to help creators, build courses. High quality courses, premium courses on skills that are valuable.
Sure.
So we then help them, productize their knowledge.
Sure.
And then, sell those courses online so that they can make money while they are effectively sleeping.
Sure.
And then that kind of like enables them to reach people, all over the world. And for learners to come onto the platform to learn valuable skills such as programming, copywriting, advertising, and everything in between.
When we had a chat last time, you were not a very big fan of the traditional education system, right? And I would I remember you saying when you dropped out of varsity before even dropping in, So I want you to take us through what inspired you to build Vuti, and how is it relevant to the direction that you're trying to take for your career.
I was like really pissed off at like school just for the sake of like Kenya go fisher school. I dropped out effectively from university before I even dropped in. We had like about 100,000 plus in revenue in my matric year.
So-
Like you'll hear of these statistics, talking about shortage of software engineers, blah 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 blah, until you start applying. And it's like, where's this shortage now? I thought I was gonna be rich by the age of 21. I made a lot of bets with a lot of people. I hope they don't contact me right now. That I'm gonna be a millionaire by 21.
Sure.
I'm 25 now, man. He committed suicide in his cell, so he was found hanging dead. And I was building some really cool software at telecom. So currently, I'm on the VodaPay team. Now I'm running towards Branson, and then his bodyguard is umpethaga ka current. Yeah, umpethaga current dhaman wa kwata managera medwo gwadiza. Yeah, look, man. So what inspired me to actually start Vuti was because I wanted to, create a course, because I realized that I had taught a couple of people how to program, right?
Yeah.
And I've mentored and advised people on a lot of programming concepts, and I wanted to productize my knowledge, right? So I was like, how do I take all this knowledge that I have, put it in video content, and then distribute it to the rest of the world, right? So YouTube was one option, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to really monetize on YouTube. You need millions of viewers, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to actually make substantial amount of money on YouTube, right? So I didn't want to be a starving artist. And while I was starting to actually build up my course, I was like, damn, wait. I mean, I can actually build out a platform, because I'm sure there are a lot of other people myself who would like to actually create courses but don't necessarily know where to start, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, maybe I should actually just start building out this platform. So then I just reached out to a couple of friends of mine who've also done a fair amount of teaching, not necessarily in programming per se. But so then I just started building out the platform for myself and for my friends, and that's how it came about.
Hearing all this about Vuti, and I would like to become a creator.
Yeah.
And for most of us to feel that imposter syndrome to am I even good enough to create videos?
Yeah.
Or to create courses, or to even teach. Who can create courses on Vuti?
Yeah, so that's actually a good question, right? So the idea, right, is that everybody can teach a course, right? Because you know something that someone is willing to pay for, right? So and what in my head, right, I would advise to anyone who wants to teach something is teach what you currently do for your 9 to 5, right? Because you are some form of an expert in your domain, right? So and it's more likely that anyone would take you serious because you've been doing this for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? So you know what you're talking about.
And
right?
not only have you been doing this for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but you've been doing this for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and in big corporations.
True.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, in big corporations or even in startups, right?
Sure.
But you're actively doing it. So one, your information is not redundant, right? And you find that you are even a mentor at work, right? So I feel everybody's an expert of some sort and can relay the information and monetize the knowledge outside of your 9 to 5. You're already being paid for your knowledge at work. Sure. That's why you go to work, right?
Thanks.
So now it's okay, cool. After work, now you can actually, get paid again for that very same knowledge. Now just putting it into a package and putting it on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity to make money while you sleep, effectively.
Effectively, I mean, it's not a get rich quick scheme, but it's a way to actually detach your income to the amount of hours you actually work, right? So one of my friends created a course, right, on, and I was what, 4 years ago? And so I called him about 2 months ago, and he just said he got a check of $1,000
Shit.
from that particular month. That was 2 months ago. So
yeah.
It's you can't create this thing once, right? And the internet does not forget.
Fact.
Fortunately or unfortunately. Right? So the internet doesn't forget. So you can kind of learn. So you can kind of earn, for years to come from just this one piece, and maybe you might do maintenance on it.
And maybe updates.
Yeah,
as it
like
goes,
update stuff. Maybe there's been an update in, I don't know.
Let's say
depending
maybe.
depending on what you're doing. If like you were doing a course on Photoshop and right now there's like a new version of Photoshop. Maybe right now you did it on version 9 and right now it's version 10 and then the breaking changes. You might want to like create another video on a certain section that like would be relevant to the new version.
I've always wanted to create courses on but I felt for a long time that it's the platform is foreign to me. I see a lot of people who don't look like me, who don't speak like me, and I'm like, okay, Shab, should I even be on this platform? Am I even qualified to be on the platform? And in my head, the answer would most often be like no, and that's why I ended up not creating. And with now Vuti coming on, I feel like, okay, Shab, now there's a space where I feel at home and I feel like I can create and be my self.
Well, what you're actually saying, right? I oftentimes laugh about it whenever I have to like explain to like people in an informal setting what Vuti is trying to do, right? So what you spoke about was like pretty much imposter syndrome that a lot of people feel, and I would like to like classify Vuti, as the OnlyFans for knowledge, right? Like, people go on OnlyFans, to sell, content,
to sell pubs.
Right? And it's like, I'm not a professional, creator, right? But people still go there and then they still monetize, off of bums, and I believe we can monetize off of knowledge as well, right? Stuff that other people are willing to pay for, and like you don't necessarily have to have taught or done education in the formal sense that I was a teacher at high school or whatever. Like, it's like, well, cool, like something, you can productize it and sell it.
But okay, I mean, I like the fact that you saying it's almost like the OnlyFans for knowledge, which is really only knowledge, only learners. So I mean, there's people they'll probably be skeptical about creating content on OnlyFans because they'll be like, oh, but there's, Twitter, you can always get bubs for free. There's XXX, Pornhub. Now, for Vuti, people could say, okay, maybe there's YouTube. How does now Vuti bring about that value to the creator to say, although there's all these other free platforms and, well, even if others are paid, Vuti will help you in these, different ways. So this could be for both the creator and the buyer, the courses.
So, I mean, look, on our side, right, we'll give you the support from day one as a creator, right? We'll give you the relevant tools and the guidance to like actually create a high value course. And then we would then so our platform is just for like premium courses, right? So we aren't interested in selling like 100 courses, right? So there are more premium courses. And the reason for that is unlike, your other more well established platforms with millions of users, we kind of have like office hours, right? So on a weekly basis, you kind of have like Q&As with like your learners, where if like someone doesn't necessarily understand a certain concept that you covered, or I don't know, the turnaround code that like they took from the project, from the course, but it doesn't work, you can kind of like help them out in that sense within like, for example, an hour. So it's not necessarily like having like side lessons, it's just like kind of like helping them out with whatever was covered in the course. So so we basically help with like on the creator side and on the learner side as well.
Sure, I could be wrong, but I feel as though the education space is driven so much by certifications. Right? And does Vuti offer certifications?
No, so for anyone who wants a certificate, I think you're better off going to UNISA. Like, I think the certificate market is well catered for. So I don't, I hate to say this, but I don't really have certificates for anything. Certificates don't do the work, right? So we're more like interested in like helping people upskill and get the relevant skills to perform a like task or get a particular job just to like improve themselves, right? So so we aren't like there to fill that gap. We're just here to like help people just like upskill and get the relevant knowledge and experience to achieve whatever you want to do. But if what you want solely, and I think this kind of goes to how schooling has actually destroyed education, right? So school just like the whole notion is like, you are born, you go to primary in the top 10, getting all these certificates, you go to high school, and then you go get your degree. Now you have this nice paper to hang on your wall. In South Africa, like our unemployment rate is like 73% last time I checked. So a lot of people graduate and then go sit home with their certificates, right? Because it's coming to a lot of people's attention that like certificates don't really
do the work.
Right? Yeah. So you sit home with this nice degree that's on your mother's wall. Right? It looks nice, but
that you've paid hundreds of thousands to obtain.
And that's sad. Like people pay hundreds of thousands to get these useless certificates, and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Like people do like crazy courses. Like I did international public relations. Blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, okay, fine, you did that, and then what?
Yeah.
Right. What do you do with that? Like degree that is like hanging on your wall. Right?
Sure.
Because the whole idea of like getting educated is not to get certified.
Is to be knowledgeable.
School kind of made it such that like the whole idea is to get that paper, right? And if you drop out in third year, you aren't certified, therefore you aren't qualified to perform a certain task. And right now, I believe that we are in a permissionless society.
Yeah,
right.
Thanks.
You don't need permission to be a master, right? You don't need a master's degree to be a master. Right now, 𝗧𝗥𝗖𝗞 we can't say 𝗧𝗥𝗖𝗞 is not a master of marketing because he doesn't have a master's degree. I think he's more of a master than people with master's degrees. Right? So it's kind of like permissionless, and like we're trying to like advocate for like this whole notion of having democratized and decentralized education, right? So it's like outside of those four walls of a lecture room, you can still get like the education which is equivalent, if not superior to that. Because like if you're confined by just having this one particular teacher in front of you, it might be the worst like lecturer in the world. But just because he's in front of you, he's like the person or your go-to person. Whereas right now we're kind of democratizing education, right? So you can get access to like the best teachers in the world.
Sweet. That's
the whole like idea behind it.
I like that, man. So before let's quickly like track back. Let's look at when COVID started. Do you think that COVID played a role in accelerating, the growth, the online learning platform? Because when I was doing a bit of my research, I learned that, the space would be worth around a couple of $1 billion in the next 2-3 years. Do you think like COVID had like a critical hand played into the growth, the industry?
So, in as much as COVID was like such a disaster, I believe it was some form of creative destruction, right? Whenever you have like bad events that occur, right? Yes, it's unfortunate, but like great things tend to come out of like bad events, right? So right now we've seen the rise in online education as a result of like COVID coming up. Like people now were confined to their homes. But it's like, how does life continue while I'm at home? How do I write this assignment while I'm at home? You've had like people take tests, and you just have to like turn on your camera, and kind of like take down that exam, or take lessons while you are home. So I think that like a major driver like of like that point, and like thank COVID. Forgive me for that. But like, that as a result, like that has like fast tracked this, and like a lot of people are right now more willing to engage in this conversation of actually taking online lessons to gain any relevant skill. And I believe that we as Vuti can help people get like truly qualified not certified, or like get to a sufficient or a fair amount of skill level within 3 to 6 months. To actually get a job. If you want to like learn web development in 3 to 6 months of applied, learning, you can actually go to an interview and stand your ground because you know what you're talking about.
Fact. Nice, man. I think you have actually given us a bit to bite on. Vuti. Why the name Vuti?
Okay, good.
Yeah, I remember it took us a while to finally arrive to this name, and I'm like, so let's just break it down. Like, what? Yeah.
So, okay, cool. So how it came about, we were just brainstorming what name would, best suit this platform, right? So we were looking for knowledge. So we bumped across like so many, names. A lot of them were taken. The others were very long, and you don't want to have a domain that's too long because it's hard to remember for anyone who's gonna like go and try to type a www. A very long URL.
You think of your
Ubers.
Right.
So we're like, okay, cool. We came across Vuti, right? Which means knowledge in Venda.
It's 𝗧𝗥𝗖𝗞 actually.
It's in 𝗧𝗥𝗖𝗞.
Yeah.
So which means knowledge, right? So we're like, okay, cool. But Vuti is still too long.
It was taken.
And was taken. Yeah. So we're like, okay, cool. How do we get something shorter? So we're like, Vuti. So actually, it was like Vuti. It sounded cool. It was like, actually, Vuti is like Vuti.io.
Sure.
It sounds like I mean, it's like 4 characters. It's very hard to like get like a 4-character URL domain.
Yeah.
So. Now we got like Vuti.io, which is nice, sweet, and short, and can still like stand its ground as a brand.
Yeah, right? And you remember that we still had to buy it because it was not available.
Yeah. So I mean, we still had to like buy it, but like eventually we got a hold of it, and man, here we are, Vuti.io, as I don't know, it's a name that I like. And, sure. I hope it resonates well with them.
So let's say I want to learn more about the platform. Maybe I'm interested in becoming a teacher or maybe buying a course as soon as they are available. Where can I go and what's currently available on the platform?
Sweet. So you can go to Vuti, www.vuti.io, which is VUTI.io, and so you can get there. You can sign in with like your Google account or like credentials like username, password, and then so currently on the platform there aren't any courses yet. They're still in the making from some of the creators. So if you want to become a creator, once you're on the platform, you will see a button on your profile menu that says become a creator. If you click on that, and then you just have to like fill in like information about like yourself, so that would be like your bio, your socials, and then from there we'll hopefully accept your application, and then we're good to go, and then we can like start engaging on how to like create a proper course, and so anybody can like actually become a creator with democratizing this whole space. So please do like pull through. Let's help you make money while you sleep. Sure.
For the social junkies, are you also on social media?
Yeah. So we are on social media. We're not on Facebook. So we're on Twitter. Right. So that's Vuti. Is it Learn Different, right?
I think it's currently Learn Different.
Yeah. But if you just search Vuti.io, will come up. And then so we're on Instagram. That's Vuti.io. You go to LinkedIn as well. So on LinkedIn as well, it's Vuti.io. And please also just do like subscribe to our newsletter. So that's where we release all of our updates.
Aware 𝗧𝗥𝗖𝗞. So that is that, and Hamasayana about how you can actually sign up, to be a part of the community. Most of y'all might have been a little bit confused because you're not seeing these things that he's talking about. But 𝗧𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗞, because on the next episode, which will be in 2, but definitely not more than 3 days, Masai will be joining us again in studio and giving us a full-blown demo. Right? Is it a demo? A full-blown demo?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
We'll do like a
demonstrate.
full-blown demo. We'll demo everything.
Yeah.
On how to actually, create your course, create your lessons.
Yeah.
And everything in between. So, So let's do that.
Sure, Bafet. So in the comment section, please let us know what you think about Vuti and this new product that Masai is building. And then if you have anything that you think would be useful to the community, please drop it in the comment section, and join the community on social media. That is that from us and Masai. My dog, I thank you so much for joining us, and I really wish you the best with Vuti. Yeah, but I know the best is your thing, man. I don't think I should be wishing it at home.
Yeah, man, it's the best of nothing. But thank you so much, brother.
Dog.
But just head over to Vuti.io, sign up. Let's take it from there. We'll see you on
the next one.
Yeah.
However, Fechi, this is TMC Podcast, where most of us are lost in our trends. So for you, please, until the next episode, make sure that you stay curious and you stay dangerous. Cheers. Bye.
Peace.
Okay, quick, sweet, short.